Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the newspaper show and I'm Hina Gambhir. So let's get started with what's making headlines on the Times of India front page that we have for you this morning. And today the biggest news is about RBI's rate cut yesterday. And Mayur Shetty has given all the details as to what big announcements by RBI mean for you, the consumer. In 8th straight cut, RBI slashes key rate 40 basis points to new all-time low. That's the biggest story that we have for you this morning. Moratorium on repayments has been extended by 3 months. Repo rate has been cut to the lowest level from 4.4% earlier to 4%, and this is the 8th successive cut that has come in. And remember, in 2018 this rate used to be around 6.5%. Now it has been cut to 4%. Now what does it mean for you? In simple terms, it means that this will be passed on to the consumer, especially for those people who have home loans or any other kind of loans, and your monthly EMIs will go down. Rate to the industry has been cut to 7.25% from 8.4% a year ago. And another important information that is there on the front page only: all borrowers can opt for a moratorium. Credit bureaus can't lower credit score of those opting for moratorium. Banks likely to follow SBI and cut interest rate on savings accounts. So while this is going to be beneficial to the Aam Aadmi, that's there on the front page. Home loan rate set to fall to 15-year low. That's another story on the front page. But there was a sort of concern as well that was raised by the RBI Governor, Mr. Shaktikanta Das, yesterday, and that's also on the front page. GDP forecast to contract for first time in 41 years. For the first time, we have heard RBI Governor saying that this year, that is 2020-21, the GDP growth could fall into the negative territory, and that is a cause of concern that is mentioned here. Then another big story on the front page of Times of India is about a plane crash that happened yesterday. 60 killed as plane crashes into Karachi locality, and this picture tells you the extent of damage that happened. Volunteers searching for survivors after the Airbus A320 crash. A Pakistani International Airlines plane from Lahore with 91 flyers and 8 crew members lost both the engines to technical fault, crashed into a residential area before landing in Karachi. And this video that came out, it showed the Airbus A320 on fire, hitting a mobile tower before skidding off rooftops of several buildings. 25 houses got damaged. Cars parked on the streets got burnt as well. At least 60 people perished, but it's not clear if all the flyers, 25 to 30 residents of the area, are in the hospital as well. Then there is an update on India's corona count. 660 new cases in Delhi, 4th peak in 4 days. Deaths top 200. 9 containment zones have been added to the national capital. City tax revenue has doubled in 1 month due to liquor sale, VAT on fuel. Prime Minister Modi yesterday took an aerial survey of the devastation that Cyclone Amphan had caused in West Bengal and in Odisha. Prime Minister announcing 1,000 crore aid for Bengal, toll at 86. That's another story on the front page. BCCI has moved Supreme Court for full 3-year terms for Saurav and Shah. The BCCI has moved the Supreme Court seeking important changes in its constitution that would allow President Saurav Ganguly and Secretary Jay Shah to complete their 3-year terms by ducking the 3-year cooling off period prescribed by Justice Lodha panel. That's another story. And Army Chief visits Ladakh, review operations. Government eases rules to facilitate travel for OCIs. That's another good news on the front page only. 6,300 new cases added to India's corona count. New cases nearly 3,000 from Maharashtra. 140 deaths reported just in 24 hours. And these are the 5 worst hit states: Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat and Rajasthan. And about 80% of your cases are coming from these 5 states only. This is what Centre says. The government has also said that we may have averted 37,000 to 78,000 deaths. In fact, the government on Friday presented various models that indicated India may have averted an estimated 14 to 29 lakh COVID cases and 37,000 to 78,000 deaths by going into the lockdown. And this is clearly a big achievement because it's the lockdown which helped India contain COVID in a big way. Then migrants make up 72% of Bihar's load since May 3rd. Suddenly there has been a spike in corona cases in Bihar, and this is because of the migrant movement. Stimulus package is a cruel joke, says the opposition. COVID coaches to be redone for Shramik special trains, and healthy elderly can fly. Arogya app not must for air travel. This is what Hardeep Puri, the civil aviation minister, has said, and this is very, very important, very crucial for you, because the air travel is going to begin from Monday. What will happen if you land in a particular city? Well, quarantine protocol on landing. Kerala, if you're going to Kerala, 14 days you will have to spend at home. Haryana, Gurgaon administration is insisting on 14 days quarantine at home. Assam is saying that 7 days institutional, 7 days at home. So if you're traveling to Assam by air, you will have to be in institutional quarantine for 7 days and at your home for 7 days. UP is also insisting on a 14 days quarantine at home. Andhra Pradesh, 14 days quarantine at home. Uttarakhand, 10 days in government facility or a hotel. Goa, if you're traveling by air, then Health Minister Vishwajit Rane wants antibody testing of all air passengers, has written to ICMR as well. And other states are expected to decide on the protocol in the next 2 days. So this is very, very crucial. What will happen if you're traveling by air? Lastly, armies worry, should masks match uniforms? That's another story. Two more important things on the front page. Sugar mills in UP have recorded their highest output, and some good news for the home buyers. Center is mulling funding stalled Amrapali flats. In a relief to around 46,000 Amrapali home buyers, the center on Friday told the Supreme Court that it is considering stepping in to provide funds to finish the stalled housing project. So that's another good news that's there on the front page. Even the second page has got 2-3 interesting stories. Wholesale price of tomato is down to as low as 1 rupee per kg at Azadpur. Big news there. Shaheen Bagh opens for trade after a 5-month lockdown, and there is a lot of other important information as well, which we'll bring to you in just a bit. आगे बढ़ते हैं और अगर नव भारत टाइम्स की बात करें तो यहाँ पर सबसे बड़ी खबर जो है फ्रंट पेज पे वो ये है, सड़कें, ट्रेन, फ्लाइट, हर जगह जाम हो रहा है ट्रैफिक। स्पेशल ट्रेन के टिकट 30 दिन पहले। तो आप देखिए कि जब से रिलैक्सेशन मिली है लॉकडाउन 4.0 में, इस तरह का कुछ नज़ारा नज़र आ रहा है सड़कों पर। ये ITO की तस्वीर है जहाँ पर लंबे जैम्स जो हैं एक बार फिर से लगने शुरू हो गए हैं। इसके बाद दूसरी खबर यहाँ पर नवभारत टाइम्स में है, जो RBI ने कल बड़ी अनाउंसमेंट करी है उसके बारे में। 3 महीने और टाल सकते हैं EMI, सस्ता भी होगा कर्ज। ये है जो कल फैसला लिया गया। कराची में प्लेन क्रैश, घरों पर गिरा विमान में 107 लोग सवार थे। हादसे के बाद सिर्फ 2 लोग जिंदा मिले। और एक तस्वीर भी है यहाँ पर जो आपको दिखाती है कि किस तरह से एक गली में, रेजिडेंशियल एरिया है, उसकी गली में ये प्लेन गिर गया था और ये उसका डेब्री है जो आप देख सकते हैं। किस तरह से कई लोगों के घर भी बर्बाद हो गए और कुछ लोग जो छतों पे खड़े होकर देख रहे हैं। और आखिरी अलर्ट, ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। एक ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग भी जो सामने आई है उसमें पायलट ने आखिरी वक्त में कहा मेडे मेडे मेडे। रेडियो संपर्क के दौरान डिस्टेंस कॉल यानी मुसीबत में होने की जानकारी देने के लिए मेडे का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है और वो रिकॉर्डिंग भी सामने आई है। इसके अलावा देश में 24 घंटे में रिकॉर्ड 6088 कोरोना मरीज। दिल्ली में सामने आए 660 केस। सड़क पर फिर रौंद दिए गए लौट रहे मजदूर। बुलंदशहर में 2 लोगों की मौत हो गई है। और एक और खबर है फ्रंट पेज पर ही, प्रधानमंत्री ने बंगाल के जज्बे को सराहा, लेकिन ममता ने मोदी को घेरा। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी और चीफ मिनिस्टर ममता बनर्जी ने शुक्रवार को कोलकाता में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की। पीएम ने ओडिशा और पश्चिम बंगाल का हवाई सर्वे भी किया। और सोनिया बोली, कोरोना से जंग में सरकार फेल हो गई है। तो एक तरफ सरकार कोशिश कर रही है कोरोना से लड़ने की, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ ऑपोजिशन जो है काफ़ी नाखुश है सरकार के एफर्ट से। Let's now move on to the Economic Times, the pink paper, to get you the latest from the world of business and economy. And the big news today is, of course, RBI's big announcement that came yesterday. And here you can see how it is going to help you, the industry and the banking sector. Central Bank puts revival ahead of inflation. Repo rate cut by 40 basis points to a record low of 4%. Repayment moratorium has been extended till August 31st. RBI cuts rates again, says economy may contract. That's the big news here. RBI rolls over SIDBI's credit facility to MSME. So some relief came for the MSME sector also. States can withdraw from consolidated fund for redemptions, another important update. And judging the risks to growth are acute, while the risks to inflation are likely to be short-lived. The MPC believes it is essential now to instill confidence and ease financial conditions further. This is what RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das had said while making that announcement. Moving on. A third of NSE manufacturing companies are back to work. Factories have started rolling again. Firms say demand remains weak and disruptions continue to plague operations. Another story Rajesh Mascarenhas has reported. Jio Platforms bags 11,000 crore from KKR. Reliance Industries to raise combined 78,500 crore with this fifth deal that has been signed in just 1 month. This private equity fund to acquire 2.32% stake in its largest investment in Asia. So clearly Reliance Jio is on a buying spree, and fifth deal in fact has been finalized in just 1 month. After FDI curbs, India plans stricter check on FPIs from China and Hong Kong. That's another story here. Under watch are 16 registered FPIs from China, 111 from Hong Kong. And Vikram Oberoi, MD of the Oberoi Group, says lack of government support for the hotel industry is disappointing. So the hotel industry is looking for some sort of relief from the government side, which they feel that it hasn't come. GDP to shrink in FY21. This is what Moody's has said. Moody's also said that the stimulus package won't help in the short term. Most of the measures are going to help us in the long term only. Lastly, Anil Ambani asked to pay 5,488 crore rupees to 3 Chinese banks. Ambani seeks legal advice after order to pay within 21 days. Lastly, one more story. ICMR has cleared hydroxychloroquine for wider usage. New guidelines have come with certain caveats. This is what Tina Thacker has reported. Let's now talk about the latest that we have for you in the Delhi edition of the Times of India. My colleague Sharon is joining us on the broadcast. Sharon, good morning. In the grip of heat wave that Delhi is right now, the maximum temperature yesterday reached 43.8 degrees Celsius, perhaps the highest so far. How is the situation like this morning?
Well, that is right, Hina. In fact, the temperature we have been seeing for past 2-3 days, the temperature has in fact been over 44 degrees Celsius, and today as well it is predicted that it will be around that time. So there is in fact a lot of heat in the national capital. Of course, people are, most of them are inside their homes, but there are also people who, because the intra-city movement is allowed, we are seeing people now on the road as well. Of course, it is a concerning situation for a number of migrant laborers who are in fact in line outside the screening centers. The lines have gone beyond 2 kilometers for them to get tested and get their train tickets, and they have been in fact standing under the sun. So it is of course a concerning and a really serious problem that needs to be dealt with. But of course in coming days we are hoping that the temperature would come down a bit.
All right. In fact, this report in the Times of India says that with the approach of fresh western disturbance from May 28, the city can expect some relief. Thank you, Sharon, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We are now moving on to the Bengaluru edition of the Times of India. My colleague Imran is now joining us on the broadcast this morning. Imran, good morning. The Bengaluru edition of the Times of India is reporting this morning that Karnataka schools may reopen in August with online TV module. This is a big development because perhaps for the first time we are hearing from a state about reopening of the schools.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the Education Minister S. Suresh Kumar has been consistently talking to the school authorities and various experts in the field and said that it is a challenging time for both the parents and the kids and the administration want to ensure that education does not stop. So before that, they have already started classes for the SSLC students through Delhi Doordarshan, and also started a YouTube channel especially for learning for kids. But the reopening of schools are looking at different models. One is that alternate days, students' capacity can be divided between alternate days or an online classes, and also there could be a mix of timing of either morning or evening. That's one option they're looking at. the parents, there is a demand that they to delay the starting of the schools because of the COVID-19. They feel that they could be children will not be able to maintain the social distancing and follow the compulsory face mask. There is a risk of that, so they're looking at the education ministers to devise some way that we can delay the opening of the schools. But the education minister has said that by August, most probably Karnataka will give permission for opening of schools, and he will probably bring out a model of where part of it will be online learning and part of it will be ensuring that an alternative way of where that children are safe and also education continues.
All right. Thank you very much, Imran, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the Chennai edition of the Times of India, and the front page is reporting the latest corona count for Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu count crosses 14,000 with 786 new cases. Government readies for peak. Shilpa, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast. Shilpa, good morning. It is also being reported on the front page that TN ordinance to temporarily acquire Jaya's house issued. Give us more details. Okay, we'll try and fix that audio and get you, Shilpa, back. But this is the big news that's there on the front page. The Tamil Nadu government on Friday promulgated an ordinance to temporarily take possession of the residence of former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha at Poise Garden in Chennai. The acquisition process for the 10-ground property worth 67 crore, which was initiated in 2017, is yet to be completed. So, big development that has taken place here. Apart from this, okay, Shilpa is back with us. Yes, Shilpa.
Well, Hina, you were asking me about, the Tamil Nadu governor promulgating an ordinance to take over the possession of J. Jayalalitha's residence. Well, yesterday the governor, of course, gave out a statement in which he said that they've promulgated an ordinance to temporarily take possession of Vedanilayam, which is the residence of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, and the movable items therein to take steps to convert the residence into a memorial through the Purachi Thalaivi Dr. J. Jayalalitha Memorial Foundation. And now this has been happening for quite a while, where the government was trying to convert her residence into a memorial. It was one of the main demands that O. Pannirselvam had put forward before joining hands with the EPS faction. So that is the reason why this is being done. But the reason why the government is hurrying with respect to this aspect is because V.K. Shashikala is set to come out of jail this year. So they do not want probably sources say that they do not want V.K. Shashikala to come up with any claim of ownership or anything of that kind, and that is the reason why the government is showing a keen interest on converting Jayalalitha's residence into a memorial before she comes out of prison.
Thank you very much, Shilpa, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We're moving on now to the Kolkata edition of the Times of India. And here the top story is that Prime Minister Modi has announced 1,000 crore advance assistance after aerial survey with Mamta. Lords Bengal's response to calamity, severe damage calls for united response. That's what Prime Minister Modi had said yesterday. Now, 48 hours after cyclone, city pockets are crying for power and water. There's still no power and water in some pockets of Kolkata. And that's also another update that's here on the front page. The toll because of cyclone Ampan has now gone up to 86. That's the total number of deaths. Shresi, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast. Shresi, the focus this morning on the front page is how Kolkata is limping back to normalcy, really, but there are still some pockets, no water, no electricity.
Well, that's right, Hina. Lots of parts in North Kolkata and parts in Behala, Pondicherry still don't have electricity or clean drinking water because of the wires that have been snapped after the trees were uprooted and the electric poles that have been damaged. Of course, the municipality corporation has said they will require at least 7 more days to clear out the trees, around 5,500 trees, as per the Kolkata Municipal Corporation has been uprooted due to the cyclone, and it is going to take the administration some time before that can be cleared. But of course, citizens are up in arms because they want to fetch clean water, and if there's no electricity, their water pumps will not be working, and that has been a great cause of worry because again, keeping in mind the COVID-19 outbreak is still there. Lots of people are unable to get treatment. Some patients go in for dialysis. All that has been put on a back foot because of this cyclone that struck West Bengal on the 20th of May.
All right. Thank you very much, Shrishi, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the Mumbai edition of the Times of India. The front page tells you the COVID count for Maharashtra and Mumbai. COVID cases surged in 24 hours in state, 2,940. That was the total number of cases recorded yesterday in Maharashtra. And in Mumbai city alone, the total cases, new cases in 24 hours were at 1,750. Mumbai deaths down, but total crosses 900. Let's go across to my colleague Arunil joining us on the broadcast this morning. Arunil, good morning. IAS officer sixth to get plasma therapy. VIP demand rises.
Well, that is right, Hina. In fact, this was basically given on compassionate grounds. 2 IAS officers till now from the city of Mumbai, one being treated at the Leelavati hospital and the other at the Breach Candy hospital, were given plasma therapy. And now the Nair hospital, which basically had started the plasma therapy, they are basically saying, the hospital authorities are saying that they are inundated with VIP calls for the plasma therapy. So mainly one silver lining that we can look into this entire thing will be that at least the patients are getting, most of the patients are getting treated with the with plasma therapy. And now the challenge in front of the hospitals in Mumbai as well as the BMC and the Maharashtra government will be to produce more such plasma therapies so that the general patients also get treated with the plasma therapy. Yes, it is expensive, but at least till now 6 patients in the city of Mumbai have been treated with it, and two of them include 2 senior IAS officers who basically got infected when they were on call of duty. One IAS officer was working in Mantra, and the other IAS officer also got infected when they were working.
All right. Thank you very much, Arunil, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the latest from around the world. And here the big story is Pak airliner carrying 99 crashes into Karachi houses to survive. Pilot told air traffic controllers he had lost both engines. That's the report coming from Karachi. Oxford vaccine trial now in phase 2. Clinical trials to test Oxford University's new vaccine for COVID-19 has moved to the second phase of the study, in which it will now be assessed in 10,260 people in the UK, including elderly and children. That's another story. UK PM plans to end reliance on Chinese imports. This is a report that has come. Stranded can stay on in UK till 31st of July. Some relief coming there from UK. A poll shows Biden in the lead. Trump lashes out. And this is something that you can find on the Times Global page. Karishma is now joining us for the latest on what's there as far as world of sports is concerned. Karishma, good morning. The big news today is that 2020 World Cup set to be postponed.
Well, it's absolutely, the International Cricket Council is going to meet for a very important meeting on the 28th of May with cricket boards, and BCCI obviously going to be very, very important in that meeting to understand what they are going to say. But what we understand is that 4 very important options are going to be discussed with regard to the T20 World Cup. One is postponing it to 2022. One is that BCCI and Cricket Australia swap hosting rights, and Cricket Australia hosts the World Cup next year and BCCI holds it in 2022. The other is that Cricket Australia will say that they are capable of hosting it, but in empty stadiums. So clearly these are the 3 options, of which what we understand from our sources and what TOI is also reporting is that the most viable option is that the T20 World Cup gets postponed to 2022, and we will know on the 28th of May what exactly happens.
All right, Karishma, appreciate you joining us with all of those details from the world of sports. Let's go across to what you can find as far as the world of entertainment is concerned. Daily Times has got everything for you today. This is what Richa Chadha is saying. My cooking in lockdown has a lot of jugaad. And Sanjay Dutt says it was tough working on KGF Chapter 2, but I enjoyed the process. And like this, there are many stories that you can find here. And this is something that you can read this Saturday morning. With this, it's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Newspaper Show. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time. Stay with us.